beginning how we met, or we got to know each other. Rogers and Cowan, I think you knew someone over there, or they were working for it. Oh, it was your wedding that you were planning or something, and they were gathering people and making sure that the important people were at the wedding, etc. Oh, the reception.
The reception?
At the Playboy.
At the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, exactly. So the gal there, she says, Michael, I think you should go because it's going to be exciting. Cornell Wilde's going to be there. Jaja's going to be there. I said, Jaja wants to kill me because her husband's staying with me. Because she had kicked him out. She threatened to kill him with she had a lion or a tiger in her house. She says, you don't get out of his house. I'm upset.
My.
So she found that he was with me. And so when I went to your reception, she says, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, that's amazing.
She says, I know where he is. You're hiding him in your house.
That's amazing.
I said, really? I was wondering how she... But then Bobby Benton was singing at your reception.
Yes,
and a lot of the stars were there. It was a house full of stars, a producer. It was wonderful up there.
450 Hollywood people were there.
Oh, it was quite a time.
Creme de la creme.
Oh, the creme de la creme. Yeah.
And we said hello to everybody coming in.
It was
and
beautiful.
We were backed by violins, Murray Corda's violins.
In a tent.
And the tent and the chandeliers with the doves, and it was absolutely extraordinary. And by the time we said hello to 450 guests, some of them were leaving, so we said goodbye to 450 guests. And Webb and I never had a chance to enjoy our dinner or a glass of wine, and we came home and had peanut butter sandwiches.
Well, Monty, with all those people there, all those fantastic names, they were really impressive, especially a little guy like me, really coming out in Hollywood. And the ambiance was so calm and dignified, and people enjoyed themselves. They were themselves, but it was you knew you were at someplace special.
It was lovely. It was a black tie
I shall never forget
event.
it as long as I live.
I won't either.
And I was telling Webb, he looked quite dapper. He was charming, handsome, and he's moved with the rhythm of the whole thing. You was typically Ruta.
I'm bouncing off the walls.
Right, exactly.
God bless him.
Oh,
he is the best husband. He is very calm by nature, and allows me to do whatever needs to be done. And as a performer who loves her audiences and wants to say hello to anybody that wants to say hello to me. You proved that in Palm
Springs when I was down there.
Oh, yeah. He's very patient about waiting for the lines, for autographs after a show or whatever. And if someone is very shy about coming up, he'll come to me and he'll say, there's a couple back over there that were a little too shy to come up to you. You'll dazzle them if you say hello.
Because I called you one time for something, and Webb called me back. He said, I want to thank you, Michael, for being my wife's friend, being I was there.
He knew you'd take care of me wherever I was.
With my big mouth, yes, of course. But I was very moved by that, because he doesn't do that. His Webb,
That's
but
so
he
nice.
cared enough that he knew I cared about you, that he called me and said thank you, and I shall never forget. You don't forget nice things like that.
A precious man.
Exactly.
I met him, doing a good deed.
Yeah.
As you know, the Thalians I've been involved with now for 60 years, for God's sake. Not quite 60, 50, 55. Yes. I had been asked by the LPGA to be their guest star at either the opening or the closing or something of their games and ceremonies in, where was it? Florida. I'm doing a blank on exactly where. And I was doing a show in Dallas, and I promised them an extra performance at the end of the week. They wanted me to play an extra week. Yeah. And I had booked this for the Thalians because they were going to give me $10,000, which seemed like a lot of money to me in the 70s.
Yes, exactly. It was.
For the Thalians. Yeah. And I said, I've got to go. So I can't play the week. And they said, well, you give us an extra show at the end of the week. Yeah. And that'll make up for it. Take the day off, Monday off. Yeah. Okay. I fly to Miami, And I get picked up in a private plane and flown over to Naples. That's where it was, Naples, Florida, in a little plane. And, you know, I put on the eyelashes and the hairpiece and get out the feather boas, you know, and ride in the parade with the mayor and then do the dinner that evening. And the next day, I have to do a show, remember, that night. So I get up early in the morning, no makeup, babushka glasses, carrying a fur coat because it's February and it's cold in Dallas, but hot in Naples, Florida. Run across the tarmac when the little plane drops me off, go to the American Airlines counter, and they took pity on me and said, Miss Lee, we'll pre-board you as soon as the flight is cleaned up. It's a turnaround flight from Dallas. Fine. I'm leaning on the counter like this. And I look down the hall and I see a great pair of Gucci loafers coming towards me. And I look up a little further, nice slacks with a crease in them. Look up a little further, double-breasted blazer with gold buttons. Look up a little further and this wonderful craggy face with the silver hair. And I thought, be still my heart. And he kept coming and coming and coming and went right past me and down the hall that away. And I thought, oh, shucks. Ships that pass in the night.
Yeah.
They pre-board me, and I'm shoving all my stuff under the seat. I've asked for a pillow. I've asked for a glass of water and take a Dristan because I hadn't been feeling well. And all my stuff is piled up in this seat. I always ask for the bulkhead seat. And I look down, and the same pair of shoes are standing there. And he looks at the seat, and he says, oh, is this seat taken? And I said, for the last time in my life, no. And he said, hello, my name is Webb Lowe. And I said, hello, my name is Ruta Lee. And we should be married because then I'll be Ruta Lee Lowe.
Oh,
and we could open a Chinese laundry. Well, he's pissed as hell. We're 41 years married and we don't have a laundry.
It's been that long, 41 years.
41 years.
Oh, my God, it tells you how old I am.
Well, it tells you how old I am.
Ruta, what was the most, other than meeting Webb, etc., what was the most moving, meaningful moment in your life? I mean, you had many, but which one really made a difference in how you felt and considered yourself and other things around you?
Boy, there's so many precious, beautiful
I know you've had so many, but
moments,
maybe one that really hit hard here.
One of those precious moments was, of course, I did the Tonight Show many times.
I know that.
I guested on it a lot. But I think one of the most precious moments was when I had my little grandmother that I brought over.
Oh, yeah.
From Lithuania.
They had headlines on TV and news and everything else.
And Johnny, they had followed my adventure like the Perils of Pauline on the Tonight Show, and we had her on the show.
I remember.
And she didn't speak a word of English, but she just sat there smiling at Johnny. And Johnny was starting to get kind of a little bit upset by the fact that she just kept looking at him and nodding and smiling, her toothless smile. And he said, what is she saying? And I said, Grandma, what are you thinking? And she said, tell him he's the sweetest flower that grows in the garden.
That's so
and
nice.
I thought, what fabulous bullshit my grandmother knew how to spew.
She was
Isn't
Hollywood.
that wonderful?
Right, she's come to Hollywood.
So that was a precious moment for me. Another precious moment, again, involved Lithuania and my roots, because I used to do so many Voice of America broadcasts. It's amazing that they let me into the Soviet Union when they did, because I was constantly doing Voice of America broadcasts. And of course, in the Soviet Union in those days, you weren't allowed to have a shortwave radio, you weren't allowed television, you weren't allowed anything that wasn't broadcast by the government. But anyway, I was awarded by the president of Free Lithuania.
Was this the last trip you went?
Not the last trip, the trip before, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was awarded, it was the same year that I got my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, that meant something to me, too.
Of course.
That was a tremendous moment for me. And then that same year, I went to Lithuania and was awarded the highest honors a private citizen can get from the country of Lithuania. So it was quite a year for me.
It was a moving thing.
Quite a year for me.
When did your grandmother pass?
2 years, 2 months, and 2 days after she arrived.
Isn't that something?
She walked
That's extraordinary.
on the carpets in our house and thought, no, they're supposed to be hanging on a wall.
Yes.
You know, instead of on the floor. I was off doing a show in I can't remember where now.
Texas?
And no, further east.
Yes.
And had come in to New York City to do the Tonight Show.
Yes.
And I was in my dressing room, and the producer, God love him, came into me and said, "Ruta, I have some terrible news for you. We just heard from your home in L.A. Your grandmother has passed away. Do you think you want to do the show?" And I said, "Oh, you bet I do. You're publicizing her and letting America know about my grandmother and help me get her. Help me convince the Soviets to let her go.
Right.
You know, and bring her to America. And I think that I want to share this evening, you know, with everybody." So it was, again, a very touching time and moment for me, you know.
Yes.
And she was quite amazing.
Yes.
This little grandmother of mine had always wanted to come to the United States. And when we got off the plane, this was in the 60s, 64, I believe. They didn't have the jetways. You had the stairs coming down to the tarmac. She stepped gingerly down the stairs, dropped to her 95-year-old knees, and kissed the ground she walked on.
That's moving. I'm sorry.
And she said, "Hello, America."
Oh, stop it, Ruta. You're upsetting me. Woo! That's something else.
She knew what it was to live through the wars being between Germany and Russia for the First World War. Then to have the communists take over and ruin her family and kill so many of her children.
Right.
She knew what it was, and that this is a blessed ground we're on, and we must never let that happen to this country.
Exactly. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I say I understand.
Sorry.
No, I empathize with you terribly. You know, because I've experienced some things with, you know, because of the history of this country, dealing with my, you know, my grandmother.
Your family.
Exactly. And I was Tony Holt in our lives then, or in your life then?
Yeah. Oh, she was always in my life. We hadn't started doing the shows
in Palm Springs, but you did something in Palm Springs.
We did Palm Springs, but we also did 5 years of Talk of the Town, which are wonderful shows, and those are shows that I really need.
Well, you shot them in Palm Springs.
Just some.
Some of them, because I watched
the rest
few
were all here. I shot them in London. We shot them in New York.
Yeah.
We shot them everywhere. But they're fabulous shows with the greatest stars in the world that I have on film, and I think we should resurrect that show.
Well, you two are like sisters
in some way.
Because I was with Tony for years.
Oh,
and I babysat her boys, David and the other one.
Yes.
What was the other one's name?
You had to ask me that.
Brad or Greg?
No.
Or
I'll call you at 2 a.m.
Please.
He's still living down somewhere in the Springs area, as is David. David, unfortunately, had a terrible stroke.
He did?
Yes, and he did it to himself. He was fooling around with drugs.
Oh, he was?
And you know what happens, and I warn everybody, you think your body can take it? Let me tell you something. He is now crippled.
You're
terribly.
kidding.
No.
Well, see, David was a little hothead as a kid.
Yes.
You know, and I used to take him off to school in Pasadena. You know, And I said, I felt so sorry for the people who were not there in the truck school because he wouldn't eat dinner one time. And I said, you eat that spaghetti? He says, no. I said, eat that spaghetti. So Helen,
Yeah. Oh, her mama. Yeah.
She sat there looking at me, what is Michael going to do to my grandson? I put his head in that spaghetti. I said, now you eat
Good
it.
for you.
Yes, and their eyes just open up. Michael's greatest black boy is going to beat my toy right in front of me, you know. But we loved each other.
Yeah.
You know, and Tony trusted me.
Yeah.
And she used to take a bath, and she says, coming up, Mike. She didn't know you had to wear anything.
Yeah.
Me. And I was sitting there, and she would talk and gossip about everybody in town.
Yeah.
You know? It was marvelous when she was working for Playgirl magazine.
Yeah, she's a very good girl. She's living in Florida most of the time now.
That's why I found
half
out.
of the year. Yeah,
Yeah, is it because of her husband or what?
No, because of tax reasons.
The tax reasons. You know, Tony.
Let's face it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's very savvy when it comes to finances.
Oh, yeah.